A US enterprise approves a pay-per-use AI pilot on a low initial commitment. It clears procurement. Usage spreads across teams. Invoices become harder to forecast, and finance questions the account economics. Pay-per-use appears to solve AI's central pricing problem. Revenue rises when customers consume more. Delivery cost rises with it. When usage falls, both should decline together. But the account does not contract as cleanly as the meter. Security reviews remain. Data controls remain. Integration support remains. Contractual obligations remain. The provider may process fewer requests while financing most of the relationship around them. Pay-per-use aligns revenue with consumption, yet many account costs do not move with it. A subscription places utilization risk inside the supplier. The customer pays a fixed amount, whether usage is high or low. Pay-per-use reverses that arrangement. The customer pays only for activity, while the supplier accepts uncertainty about whether enough activity will support the account. The risk has not disappeared. It has changed location. Consider a simple modeled account. 1,000 units are consumed at 10 cents each. Delivery costs 6 cents per unit. Support and integration add $20 for the period. At full usage, the account contributes $20. At half usage, revenue and variable cost fall, while the $20 burden remains. The meter protects against heavy consumption, not weak adoption. Enterprise AI is rarely sold as inference alone. Customers expect identity controls, data routing, reliability, and integration. These obligations attach to the account, not to each request. The request is measurable. The account burden does not follow it. The next problem is the unit. A provider can charge for tokens, images, minutes, tasks, workflows, or outcomes. Technical units are easy to count, but hard to connect to value. Outcome units are easier to justify, but may contain retries, review, and varying infrastructure use. The meter does more than record usage. It decides which uncertainty reaches the customer and which remains inside the provider's margin. If the unit is too granular, invoices become difficult to forecast. Customers respond with limits. If the unit is too broad, the provider absorbs cost variation and recreates part of the exposure metering was meant to solve. This is where the model compresses. Pay-per-use can align marginal revenue with marginal delivery cost. It cannot guarantee recovery of account-level cost. It can reduce losses from extreme consumption while increasing exposure to low utilization. It can make pricing more transparent while making quarterly revenue less predictable. The mechanism that protects margin at high usage can weaken contribution at low usage. Adoption behavior then becomes part of the economics. Under a subscription, another session feels included. Employees may experiment because the incremental decision is invisible. Under metered pricing, each request carries an explicit charge. That discourages waste, but can also suppress the experimentation required for the product to become embedded. Usage discipline improves. Usage depth may not. For US enterprise buyers, budgeting structure reinforces this tension. A low initial commitment helps a pilot enter the organization, but once usage spreads across teams, variable invoices become harder to forecast through quarterly operating budgets. Finance may impose caps. Procurement may seek discounts. Business units may delay expansion. Each response reduces buyer uncertainty. Each can reduce the volume the provider needs. Competitive markets make the visible unit even more important. When similar products charge for the same technical activity, procurement can compare the unit price directly. Discounts affect revenue immediately. Integration, reliability, and account service costs change more slowly. A product can show healthy margin on every measured request and still produce weak contribution from the customer relationship as a whole. The practical test is not whether price exceeds inference cost. It is whether expected usage, after discounts and volatility, supports delivery, platform overhead, account service, and the burden of keeping the customer active. Finance teams observe this by account cohort and stress test low usage quarters rather than relying on average consumption. A profitable week can sit inside an unprofitable quarter. This is why durable models often become hybrids. A minimum commitment funds part of the persistent account burden. Metered charges recover expanding usage. Prepaid credits create a spending boundary. Volume tiers reward scale without making the first unit carry the entire relationship. The objective is not pricing purity. It is stable contribution without obstructing valuable use. The hybrid narrows exposure. It does not remove it. Hybrids introduce their own constraints. A high minimum revives subscription resistance. A low minimum may fail to cover enterprise overhead. Aggressive discounts encourage expansion while reducing revenue available for support and reliability. Credit rollover lowers customer anxiety while delaying when unused demand becomes visible. The structure must answer 3 questions. What event creates customer value? What activity creates provider cost? What recurring account burden exists even when neither event occurs? Those questions rarely have the same answer. One meter cannot reconcile all 3. Return to the modeled account. The 10-cent price covered each additional unit. The 6-cent delivery cost moved with usage. The $20 account burden did not. Better measurement could describe the problem more accurately, but measurement alone could not finance it. A meter can price the activity. It cannot, by itself, support the relationship surrounding the activity. Pay-per-use is not simply more precise subscription pricing. It is a different allocation of uncertainty. It protects customers from paying for idle capacity and providers from unlimited consumption. In exchange, it makes adoption, revenue timing, unit design, and account-level cost recovery more consequential. The price can follow usage perfectly and still fail to support the business around it. The underlying physics shapes outcomes more than the pricing label itself.